Happening tonight on Fox 8 News. What can drivers expect going to and from Thanksgiving celebrations? We check it out to help keep you safe. Plus, organizations around the area were hard at work this holiday season helping give back to those in need. We take a look at their efforts.
This is Fox 8 News, the place to be at 10 o'clock.
Well, good evening. We have a lot of Thanksgiving coverage to get to, but first we begin with breaking news out of Cambria Township. Fire crews and the coroner called to the scene of a house fire on the 200 block of 20 Row Road. Our Rachel Pritchard is live with more. So, Rachel, what do we know so far?
Just details are still limited at this time, and actually I had to come a couple of miles away from the fire to get any signal to talk to you guys right now. But of course I can still see, even though it's dark, some smoke just about a mile in the distance. Let's get straight to that video so you can see what I was seeing when I was on scene. Now, the call came in just before 8 o'clock at about 7:59 to a house fire with entrapment at 239 20 Row Road here in Cambria Township. Now, there were multiple fire crews on scene, including Dauntless, Culver, Nancy Goat, Revlock, and Hope Fire, all on scene. I was told by officials that Culver arrived first to the scene to try to put out that fire, and all the other groups were here to assist. We were also told that Cambria County Coroner Jeff Lees is on scene at this time. We are awaiting more information from him, and of course we will continue to bring you all of the latest information. We do know, however, that at least one person died in that fire, and of course you can stay with Fox 8 News as we continue to learn the latest details from the scene. Until then, in Cambria County, Rachel Pritchard, Fox 8.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Crews were also responding to another fire at a home on the 200 block of Bertman Street in Richland Township this evening. Officials tell us the family was sitting down for dinner when they smelled smoke and saw it coming from behind the stove. That's when the flames just began to grow. We talked to the Richland Township Fire Chief about the biggest obstacle they came across when battling the blaze.
Our biggest issue was getting in. It started running the roof, and when it went into the roof, there was an addition onto the house, and it was a little bit lower than the main one, and as it was running through the roof, it was basically in behind the walls, and we were having trouble basically playing ping pong back and forth with it.
How the fire started is still unknown at this time. A state police fire marshal has been called in to investigate, and the Red Cross is assisting the 2 adults who were displaced by the fire. Well, Josh, very, very cold outside. I'm sure on this Thanksgiving, very thankful for heated blankets and heaters.
Yes, anything to keep warm here these days, Jess. We've had a very cold Thanksgiving in many cases, breaking records in some towns, but the cold pocket of air that worked in here over the last day or so will be starting to exit onto the north and east over the next day or so. So we have about another day to day and a half before we start to see this retreat and we get into some of this warmer air that's out west. Right now, those 10 o'clock readings falling pretty quickly. St. Mary's at 10 degrees. Clearfield at 17, Johnstown and State College in the upper teens right now. Yeah, there's St. Mary's checking in with 10 onto the south, 19 at Somerset and Myersdale as well. Coming up tomorrow, here's a quick look at those temperatures if you're venturing out first thing Friday morning. And it's again on the cold side. No changes until we head through the weekend. We'll track our next round of precipitation coming up in just a bit.
Travel experts say this Thanksgiving holiday is likely to be the most traveled Thanksgiving since 2004. Many cars hit the road yesterday and even more hitting the road this morning. Matt Baumgarten spoke with PennDOT and Pennsylvania State Troopers to get an idea of what drivers should expect if they're headed out this weekend.
Although Wednesday was the major travel day for this Thanksgiving holiday week, a lot of drivers still expected to be out on local roads through this weekend, and police say driving just a few miles around your home can be just as dangerous as traveling 1,000 miles.
During this same time period last year, throughout the state, there was roughly 3,000 crashes, and which resulted in 21 fatalities.
This Thanksgiving is expected to have the most travelers in more than a decade, making it a dangerous time for drivers. You don't have to be going a long way for safety to become a factor.
The majority of crashes take place within 25 miles of home.
State police say don't be surprised to see a lot of troopers out on major highways in our region like I-80, I-99, 22, and 322, and the Turnpike.
There will be specific troopers that are allocated for additional traffic enforcement, whether that be aggressive driving, speed enforcement, and DUI related enforcement.
Those roadways are also expected to be the heaviest traveled roads in our area. Police say it may sound like a broken record, but simply slowing down and buckling up can save you an expensive ticket, but also could save lives.
The few minutes that we may shave off of our travel time is certainly not worth the potential risk of harming somebody else or ourselves or any of our loved ones.
Troopers say it's important to be patient and remember, officers are out on the road for a reason.
We want to make sure that everybody arrives to their destination, to have that time with their family, get there and get home safe.
And PennDOT also wants to remind drivers here in Centre County that there is still that bottleneck on 322 near Potter's Mills. There will be a crossover for traffic about a mile east of that intersection with 144. Some good news, though, for drivers here in State College. North Atherton Street is expected to have all lanes open throughout this holiday weekend. In Centre County, Matt Baumgarten, Fox 8.
As police and other first responders work this holiday to keep everyone safe, their efforts don't go unnoticed. One nonprofit in Blair County making sure that they had a warm meal to eat today. The event was made possible by the Because We Care Foundation, volunteers from the Hope Community Church and Holy Trinity Catholic Church schools. Volunteers packed dozens of individual Thanksgiving meals and dropped the boxes off to police officers, firefighters, EMS workers, and 911 dispatchers in Blair County. Volunteers say first responders are taking time away from their families to help others, and they deserve a warm Thanksgiving dinner.
I absolutely love being here and doing what we're doing. It makes me feel great knowing that we can provide for the first responders.
In total, 200 meals were served to first responders across the county. The Bellefonte Knights of Columbus held a free Thanksgiving dinner this afternoon for the general public. They had all the Thanksgiving meal classics. They served about 95 dinners just in the first hour alone. This was the only free Thanksgiving dinner served on Thanksgiving in Bellefonte. And despite the winter weather, many people coming out for the 51st annual Turkey Bowl in Point Stadium. The Bulls and the Bears took the field, raising money for the Easter Seals Johnstown and Somerset division to help children and adults with disabilities. Over the years, the Gridiron Battle has raised more than $500,000 for Easter Seals. This year, it was the Bears who took home the win, 27-24. Organizers expected to raise anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 from today's game. Meanwhile, on the ice, the Cambria County Student Hockey League's Johnstown Warrior Mites faced off in their annual Turkey Day Classic today. Dozens of hockey fans came out not only to support the youth players, but also to help raise money for the families of two of the little Warriors, including Ian Rosenbaum. Ian was diagnosed with leukemia in September. Organizers say they were thrilled to see how many people came out to support the cause.
It's amazing to have this many people here. The hockey community is amazing to have this many families get up this early on Thanksgiving morning to come and be part of this great event. We're just one big family here in the hockey community.
Win or lose, each of the little Warriors got a chance to celebrate by getting a medal. Hundreds of runners also braving the bitter cold this morning for the annual Boalsburg Turkey Trot 5K run and walk. The race started and ended at the Pennsylvania Military Museum. The course went right through Route 322 and through the Boalsburg neighborhoods. We caught up with the race winner, who finished with an impressive time of 16 minutes and 38 seconds.
St. Joe's, I think it started out when I was finishing high school, so it's cool to see their program taking off, and I always hear about the great things they're doing, so it's cool to come out here and support it. Runners are a great bunch. They always show up no matter what the weather is, so it's always fun, and you know, people are all around the course cheering, giving their cowbells, so it was a lot of fun.
The benefit was for the Friends of the Pennsylvania Military Museum and the St. Joseph's Catholic Academy cross country and track teams. A group of area high school students will have their artwork displayed in a unique way. It's going to be on the front of a PennDOT plow. Gary Sinderson explains.
When PennDOT plows hit the roads in Centre County this winter, one of them will be equipped with a work of art designed by a group of Bellefonte High School students.
This plow demonstrates that we are very much a fine arts school, and our district and our community is fully behind us in whatever that we do in all of our endeavors.
PennDOT's Paint the Plow program is a competition for high schools, a different canvas to promote a safety theme.
Putting out such a good message as Know Before You Go because it really lets drivers know what's going to be on the roads, how to prepare for this.
For the Bellefonte student artists, they sorted through various design ideas.
It took us probably 5 weeks, I think. A lot of work was put into it because, unfortunately, with fall sports, which we're great at here, we had multiple after-school activities.
The Bellefonte plow idea turned out to be a PennDOT Regional Award winner.
Students now are so much more connected. Maybe it's through the use of social media, but they know each other, and there's such a greater sense of collaboration and working with one another.
For Fox 8 News, I'm Gary Sinderson.
The Logan Township Police Department welcomed a new four-legged officer to the force yesterday. Ciro, the canine, is cross-trained in narcotics detection and patrol duties. Today, Ciro and his handler, Officer George Swander, were formally introduced at the Fiore Toyota on Logan Valley Boulevard. The owner donated $17,000 to the police department so that they could add a canine officer to their department.
The people here at Fiore Toyota work and live in the community. The vast majority of our customers are in the Blair County area, so we thought it was a good fit to give back to the community.
Ciro's first day on patrol was actually earlier this month. The Navy veteran who was selling his personal belongings at yard sales to help raise money for his own funeral has passed away. Willie Davis was battling terminal cancer, and back in September, we told you about David Dunkelberger and Ed Sheets, who started a GoFundMe for Willie after stopping by his yard sale and hearing his story. The story received national attention, and more than $64,000 were raised to help grant Willie his final wish. In September, Willie told us that he had a burial plot near his parents at a cemetery in Culpeper, Virginia. Willie said that he hoped the additional money raised will be used to help other veterans. And today marks the 55th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, who was shot in Dallas, Texas in 1963. In Altoona, people can pay their respects at the Kennedy Memorial at Tuckahoe Park. The newly refurbished Kennedy bust, first erected in 1964, was rededicated just in time for the anniversary. The sculpture of Kennedy's bust had been vandalized, but was restored through the efforts of Central Pennsylvania National Guard and Veterans Association. A local scout also worked on the grounds surrounding the monument. We got a chance to sit down with Edward Knob, one of the original installers of the Kennedy bust back in 1964. Knob says he considers it a great honor to have been involved in the installation of the monument and tells us he feels proud of the work he did.
That brings back a lot of good memories. Yes, it does. I can remember where I was the day President Kennedy, they told me he was shot. So, I mean, that sticks with your mind.
Tuckahoe Park is located at Union Avenue and 30th Street in Altoona. Still ahead on Fox 8 News at 10, we take a look at the latest efforts to fight the fires in California and additional worries officials have. Those details right after the break.